Hey, we're
No.
live.
Cool actiony scene.
Hey, right off the bat, you got a $2 super chat from Austin. I'll be a bit late driving home from work now, he says.
Cool.
Oh, awesome.
And he paid you to say that. He paid you to say that.
Oh, and I'm getting my lights now, so I'm not in the dark.
Well, as you're getting that, how about I go through and say some highs real quick then?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
So I missed the first two people because Skipper is the first one I see, and he says he's third. So I don't know. Skipper, remember who it was? You're muted too, by the way.
No.
It was two other people. All right, so we missed the first two, but I got Skipper as the first one. And then Scuba Steve, Carol Cox, Linda Worth, Drinkwater, Crypt Keeper, Tampa Tom, Grumpy Mike, hello, sir, Dr. Awesome, Scotty the Fish Freak, Sky Dancer, Leslie Perry, Mark Sturlson, Austin, Brother Dan, Dapper Danis, Dapper Danis. Mark Sturlson.
He's such a wonderful guy, but I hope he doesn't punch us in the eyes for that.
Dapper Danis. Bunny Viper.
That cool hat.
Gabriel.
He's probably been in a lot of fights.
You think so? I don't think so. I think he's too nice of a guy for all that. Amateur Aquatic, Larry D. I think I got everybody so far. There's June, only Oscars.
I saw
everybody.
I think he's...
The first person was Craig Doniger, and the second was Piranha something.
Oh, Piranha God.
Mm-hmm.
Piranha God is my buddy that I've met through shorts.
Mm.
And
that sounds
he
weird.
Has amazing shorts. Yeah, I know. We share shorts.
Well, I met him through our shorts.
Well, he has, I don't know if I found him first or he found me, but he has he has all sorts of great things. But yesterday he did a stream or a short of his ornate Beischer eating a fish, and then I did a short at the same time eating bloodworms, and I'm like, wow, I'm neglecting my drop. I have frozen brine shrimp that I need to throw in there more often to those guys.
Mm.
The peas came in.
How big they can eat.
B Wizzle.
Oh, hi, peas.
Amanda Baker.
I forgot.
Sage.
I need to ask for their not social security number. Their zip code.
I thought we got it for you.
I didn't write it down.
No.
Somebody.
Did they message you?
I don't know.
You may have messaged
Facebooking?
Possibly.
Harley Parsons came in too. Let's see, I think I got everybody. Mystery Snail Guardians.
Maybe they accidentally messaged Ed's picking up cichlets.
Speaking of him, I haven't seen him around in a while.
Oh, I saw him yesterday. Where was I? I don't remember where I was. Let's see. Oh,
I know where he was today. I don't remember yesterday.
no, I didn't get it on Steven's thing either. See? I didn't. His phone number might be on there, so I didn't want anybody to see that.
So what do you need from them? What do you need from the peas?
I need their zip code because I have everything else.
All right, there you go. And
I was
and
keeping a box they sent me.
The best place to get it is Facebook Messenger. That's easiest for you.
Yeah, Facebook message or text me.
I'm sure that they're both listening. He said 70739.
Right.
8675-309.
Oh, what damn you.
Or in
There's
chat.
a pen.
Colored Guppies, what's up? What's up, Vinay? Good to see you, buddy. Scuba Steve had a question for me. He says, when we resume Focus Ons? Actually, the first Tuesday of February, I'll have All Things Fish. Mike will be with me for we'll start doing the Focus Ons again. That's the only one I have scheduled right now. We've been talking about it for a super long time. So we're going to start doing those the first Tuesday in February. Cool. Jimmy P, Night Owl Aquatic.
867.
No, he's going to do it.
70739.
7073. Wow, I was way off. How did
I
I do
got
that?
it.
You started saying that in that song.
You know, it looks like a phone number.
It's from the song, right, Jenny?
876.
8675309.
Damn you, Rico.
Jenny? No, that's why I always say when I see Jenny in the chat, I'm always Jenny.
Oh, I just saw Tim, the Crypt Keeper.
Amanda Baker's singing it.
Puppies. Boy, I was like, I almost slept through the show. I like to take a nap before every show, so that way I'm like fresh and I'm not tired. And I woke up maybe 20 minutes before the show and realized I didn't set my alarm. So, yeah, that was scary.
Ooh. Me and Rico would have been sitting backstage like, where's Ed?
And we wouldn't even know each other was there because that's how the backstage works. You can't see, only the owner can see who's backstage. So I would have been a little upset because I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it tonight because it's late, and 2 lates in a row for me is difficult these days. So, but I couldn't stay away from Skipper and Ed.
Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Now I'm going to sleep all day tomorrow.
Well, we'll do a hard cut at 10:30 or at 10:30. Late.
All right, bye.
At 11:30.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
We'll see how it works.
This is supposed to be Kenny's football show, and Kenny is having a fun time with his wife and some of his friends, eating wonderful food and stuff. So I totally understand. But let's just talk a second about football, the league.
What's football?
It's fantasy football. And
I am fantasy football. Okay, I thought you meant actual NFL because I was going to say I am so out of the loop. I didn't even watch like the last 3 Bears games. I'm just I don't even know who's in the playoffs. To be honest, I don't even know this year. I just
the Chiefs.
Vinay.
The Chiefs are in the playoffs.
And hello, Ed.
Hiya.
And Stephen P said I did an all-nighter editing again last night. I'm definitely too old for that now.
No,
you know what's stupid was there was this guy on Buffalo that had a heart attack and died, but then he came back to life.
That was crazy.
Buffalo was too sensitive and couldn't play the game within the next 2 weeks before the playoffs. So what they did is they just counted it as not a win or a loss, and it made sure that Kansas City won the first place spot. So that helped Kansas City because if Buffalo would have won, they would have had the tiebreaker on the Chiefs. So Buffalo had the most to lose here. But if if Cincinnati would have won, Kansas City would have had it no matter what. And it would have helped I don't know. It was all crazy stuff. But they voted that if Buffalo and the Chiefs play each other for the championship, the AFC championship, it's going to be at a neutral site. Well, neither Buffalo or Kansas City voted to do that.
It was the NFL.
Every owner had one vote.
Mm-hmm.
And 24 of the other teams voted that they have a neutral site instead of them saying they wanted to do a neutral site. They didn't want it. And I'm like, that's kind of lame that you don't let the 2 teams discuss it and make the decision. But that site is going to be Atlanta, which is an hour and a half from my house.
Oh.
So I checked out tickets because I'm thinking that would be pretty fun to go to.
But
the cheapest ticket, and I need 2 of these. And before I do anything, spoiler people, I'm not going to go, so don't give me money, okay? This is not a try to get money deal.
Yes, you got to say that.
Because I don't want to get the cheapest ticket, okay, unless it was $10, and then I'd go for the cheapest ticket. but the cheapest ticket was $195 or $198. So that's the
Nosebleed.
very highest possible seat that my dad and I would have to walk to in the place. So that's just not a good scenario. The most expensive was $51,000, but I bet that's like a box seat.
Oh yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
and I bet you it's a whole box because you probably don't get to buy just one seat in a box. You probably have to buy the whole box. But
Jesus.
so
Wonder
yeah,
what
I was all I got excited for a minute. Oh, Chiefs came close, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I would rather spend $400 on prime rib and martinis at home than
Yeah.
watch the game.
Well, I mean, $51,000 will get you food and everything and some liquor.
Yeah, but $51,000 would also buy me a new Tesla.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get that. But anyways,
Well, I'm just saying for a car in general,
I get
any
me,
car,
I
a
get
really
me
fancy
very-
car.
I give me
You
a
know-
very
you know-
truck.
I did like that they decided not to play because it's just a game, and somebody on the team, it just showed at least they're giving lip service to the fact that the players are important, even though they don't really feel that they are. I know they make their money and stuff. I'm not saying that, but I still like that they did. I understand it caused all kinds of problems, and they could have taken care of that stuff differently. But I like that, they actually looked at the human side of things and not just the business side of things for that. So I'm on board with them doing that, and showing the respect to the person who almost lost their life playing a game. It's happened a few times, right? How many players have lost their lives or not too long
Paralyzed.
afterwards,
Yeah.
And again, they choose to play. I get it. We could go down that rabbit hole and talk about all kinds of different aspects of it. But at the end of the day, they're still human beings, and I just like to see them treated with respect. That's all.
That I like that because of that reason also, and it was also the NFL that made that decision of not to play that game the rest of the way.
I think you're giving the league too much credit because it was the players that said they weren't going to start the game, and it was the players that said they were leaving, and they didn't want to fight the union on this because they would look like a bad guy. So it was the players making the decision.
Well, they didn't
stand up for themselves.
See, I didn't see that part. They didn't put that in the news now, did they?
No, well, they were saying that during the game that the game was going to start up in 10 minutes. And before they knew it, there were players taking showers. The players had already decided they weren't going to play.
I don't blame them.
I don't know. I think they should have come back and played the game the next day. I mean, I've seen the exact same incident, and I even said this to Dad. It's the exact same thing that happened to Chris Pronger. He got hit in the heart with a hockey puck. He skated 2 steps and fell over, and everybody thought he had a heart attack and died. But they started that hockey game up 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it was, once they got him on the stretcher and got him to the hospital. Pronger was back in 4 days. Okay, so Pronger had
So
less.
it's not the exact same thing because this guy might not ever play again.
He's still on oxygen right now.
Yeah, so he probably won't play again. His life is changed.
Yeah. Well,
and again, it's just a game. It's just a game.
Yeah.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. I've been a football fan my entire life since I was 4 years old. I've been a Chicago Bears fan, since the 60s. But it's still just a game.
Cincinnati should have got the win because Buffalo still forfeited, in my opinion.
And it's got to be tough to shift gears a little bit. It's got to be tough to be a Buffalo fan.
Oh my gosh, yes.
To be there 4 years in a row and not win. It's Vikings. Vikings did the same thing. I don't know if theirs were 4 years in a row that they've been 4 times, right? Fran Tarkenton took them a couple times. They've been 4 times. It wasn't in a row though, right? I think it was spread out, but 4 times in a row and to not win, and to be so close.
I know. And I used to be a big Buffalo fan. The Chiefs were the stinkiest team in the AFC West. Like, with this win, of the conference, our little division conference, now all 4 teams have 15 wins each. But 7 of those 15 wins came with Patrick Mahomes, or well, I should say with Andy Reid, because we got 2 of them with Alex Smith too. Because Andy Reid is so amazing. But if you look at that, we have finally caught up with the rest of our just little 4-man conference. Everybody with 15. So I mean, the Chiefs had won, I think, 2 playoff games in maybe 15 attempts while I was alive. I mean, that's terrible. Yeah. And we loved Schottenheimer because he was a really good coach for years. He lost every playoff game. I mean, and then poor Dick Vermeil, you know, we would go into the league as number 1 team, and then here would come Peyton Manning from Indianapolis, and Dungy's an amazing coach. I love Dungy.
Yeah.
And they would beat the Chiefs 3 years in a row at home, and my mom at Arrowhead, and then my mom would be cheering the whole time for Peyton Manning. It's like, stop. So yeah, I get but so it was hard to be a Chiefs fan because you want to root for somebody that makes the playoffs, you know. So I was rooting for Buffalo those years when they had Kelly, Lofton, Reed, Thurman Thomas.
Yeah,
they were so good, and that was just the offensive side. They had Bruce Smith and Tully.
I get you.
They were.
It's hard.
Defense.
It's hard to always be a fan of the team that always loses. So it's nice once in a while to pick. I always have a secondary team as well, wherever I live. Like when it was Chicago, I only had the 1 team. But when I lived in Arizona, the Cardinals came in. I was a Cardinals fan. We moved to New York, Buffalo, because the city's different. You know, that's a different area. So I'm not a huge Buffalo fan. I couldn't even tell you most of the players on the team right now. I couldn't tell you half of them. But I do root for them a little bit.
Well, I do the same thing. You know, when I moved to St. Louis, I rooted for the Rams for a little bit, but then the fans got under my skin because they would always make fun of the Chiefs so bad. That's why I started growing this red beard, you know. It was hard to root for a team that your team when for a secondary team when they're always making fun of your favorite team. So, but now that I live here, every Tennessee game is on TV and every Atlanta game is on TV because those 2 cities are so close to me. They're both within an hour and a half drive pretty much. And so we root for Tennessee. And
one player, your favorite NFL player of all time, Ed, who is it? All time.
So there's 2 players I would love to watch.
One player. One player for all time. I know
I'll
it's
take
hard.
Randall Cunningham. Cunningham. Yes. So amazingly talented. Philadelphia guy. Man, he was amazing. I mean, I rooted for him over the Chiefs. When the Chiefs played him, and this is when the Chiefs were really good defensively, he hurdled Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith, big defense, or Neil Smith. I mean, Neil Smith was a big defensive lineman for the Chiefs, and he jumped over his head. It's amazing.
Real quick, let me interrupt you. You got a membership chat from Leslie Perry. She says, finally got 6 Denison barbs, and I'm thrilled. And that's a 2-month membership message from Leslie.
Oh, Leslie, I would like to get some of those.
I have some of those. I love them. Yeah, I love my Denisons. They're among my favorites. That's a good choice, though, Randall Cunningham. I always like to watch him play. And he was also a classy, because some of the players I just can't root for, even though they're very Bruce Dickinson. Bruce Dickinson? That's the lead singer of Iron Maiden. What's his name? Eric Dickinson, right?
Oh, Eric Dickerson.
Dickerson, yeah.
Amazing runner.
Great running back, but just a shitty person. He's just a.
He was amazingly fast, but then he would just step out of bounds instead of fight for that extra yard. But you know what? It made it so he didn't get hurt. So it's hard to argue fighting for a yard when you just got 11.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What about you, Skipper? What about you have a favorite?
I have 2, but I'm going to have to go with James Harrison.
Good one, too. Yeah. And why him so much? He was dominating for sure.
Listen, he didn't take nothing. He just went for it. He didn't care. Like he literally put his body on the line whenever he played. And so did my second guy.
Now, did he play? Did he play his whole career for the Steelers? He played for the Steelers, right? I got the right guy. I'm not thinking of somebody else.
Did he finish? He
did not finish with the Steelers. He finished with
Was it New England?
Damn it.
Aha.
I hate it when they don't finish with the teams that they were great for.
They don't do that. They don't do that too often anymore. Most players move around a lot, but I'm with you. Like Brian Urlacher was a Bear his entire career. I do like to see players stick with their team the whole time. Bengals. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's even worse. A rivalry.
So who's your second anyway, Skipper? I got to know because you said they were so close.
Troy Polamalu.
Oh, okay.
Oh, one of my favorite times in the NFL was with Paul Polamalu.
When he got his hair pulled?
Yeah, by Larry Johnson. I got his action figure in the other room. If I can ever get a Polamalu action figure, I'm going to make it so he's yanking his hair. And they called a penalty on that after they said that would not be a penalty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got a huge penalty for it.
Oh,
and they were making such a big deal about that was when long hair had just gotten into the game, and only defensemen would wear long hair, really, because they didn't want their hair yanked when they were running. And that was Johnson's big beef, was he had to keep a flat top or cut real short because it was against the rules to yank people, or you could get tackled by your hair, so he refused to have long hair. Marcus Allen.
You know who my favorite is, right? That's do you know?
Sweetness.
Yes, Walter Payton.
Yeah, that's a good one.
13 years as a running back. He missed one single game in 13 years. One. And that wasn't even his choice. He wanted to start, and the coach told him no. And the day he broke the record for 274 yards rushing in a game, he had the flu. It's called the flu game. He had 104-degree temperature, and he still ran for 270 whatever it was yards. His work ethic and the fact, his favorite part of the game was blocking. He loved to be able to hit somebody else because he got hit all the time. And you were talking about not running out of bounds unless he knew that he had to stop the clock when they changed the rules and stuff, and those types of things. He would not run out of bounds. He would always hit that player, make sure they, but he would also help that player up and say, good hit, rookie, good hit, whatever, and tell him. That's where he got the nickname Sweetness. His sportsmanship was, like no other. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good one.
My other favorite was Derek Thomas because he always seemed to cap the games at the end. He would always get the sack at the very end or the tackle or the stripped ball. He was amazing, and I really miss him. He died way before his prime.
A lot of them did. That's back to what we were talking about. And again, let me interrupt you real quick. Grumpy Mike came in with a 7-month membership message, says MVP Mahomes. And Ryan, and this is a good point. You saw what he said, but he gave you a $5 super chat. He says Marcus Allen went to the Hall of Fame as a Chief, and it makes me sad. Which I thought most of his career was as a Raider, though, wasn't it? Or was it split?
Well,
he got choose, I think.
His playing time was split as a Raider with Bo, and then he ended up coming to the Chiefs, and he ended up breaking the touchdown records and all that because we fed him the ball nonstop at the goal line, and that guy could always dive for 2 yards, and he was in his 30s, and he broke the record, and I don't think he would have ever gotten that high if he didn't go to the Chiefs because he wasn't in the play time with the Raiders. So, and he still lives in Missouri. My buddy a few months ago took a picture of him at a football game that his nephew was in. and he was that. So but that was in St. Louis. So I don't know if he lives in St. Louis or Kansas City, but or maybe he just lives everywhere when you're really rich, But I hear people say they see Marcus Allen all the time. So, like my friends in St. Louis. So it's kind of like Daryl Strawberry. I like ate with him a couple times, not with him, but ate in an IHOP a couple times when he was in there. It was so weird because he must really like IHOP, and we would work all night long. Yeah, well we worked all night long, and so we'd go out to breakfast, and there's Daryl Strawberry, the Mets player, eating a grand slam.
So that's another good thing. So who did you meet that was your favorite? I've only met a couple. I met a lot of Chicago Cubs, because they practice out there in Mesa where we lived, and we'd go to the practices all the time. Not the actual Cactus League games, but the practice for those. So you're just walking around with them. They're just right there, and there's nobody else around. Mark Grace, Ryan Sandberg. I mean, just tons of Chicago Cubs were just Sammy Sosa. Just you walk right around with them. But I also met a lot of the Bears because they did practice out there sometimes, and it was a Chicago Fest. So a lot of the Bears would come into town and go to a Cactus League Cubs game with you, and then you go have dinner with them and stuff. So did you meet a lot of people, Ed? Have you met a lot, and what's your favorite one?
Oh boy. Well, okay, I've met a lot of athletes. Well, I was a security guard on the field with the Rams. So, and I was the visiting team's tunnel. So I made sure nobody got in the visiting team's tunnel because, like, if there's a sniper or a bomb threat, that tunnel has to be free for the visiting team to get off the field as fast as they can. And I stood next to a guy during the national anthem because I was going to let him stand there because you couldn't loiter in this tunnel unless you're like a police officer, an EMS guy, some type of an emergency official, or a security guard, or somebody with the field. Well, the guy that I went to turn to tell him, okay, you got to go now, it was Derek Thomas. And he had torn his tricep. It was right before he had died. That was that season. Later that season, he was going to the airport to get to the Rams game to watch the playoff games because the Chiefs were already knocked out of the playoffs. And he flipped his car and rolled it and broke his neck. And he actually didn't die during that. He was learning how to re-walk, and he broke a blood clot in his neck, and it got him. But still, I was standing next to him. I went, "Whoa, Derek, hi." And he went, "Hi there." And it was real nice, and he smiled. And of course, everybody's supposed to wear a Rams pin right here for the games. I found a Chiefs one and wore the Chiefs one. and you were allowed to wear a fanny pack back then in those days. And I had a Chiefs fanny pack. So he knew I was a Chiefs fan, I think. But that was neat. But like
real quick, let me interrupt you one more time. Because this is important, and I know you want to know this. Jenna P said today started Girl Scout cookie sales.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, cool.
I know you want to know that. So, all right. So that was your favorite one, Derek Brooks, or?
Derek Thomas. Well,
sorry.
For football, he's the coolest football player I've ever met. I've met a lot of football players, but I met a lot of players because I used to go to a lot of different things. And I was a photographer for the Blues, not for the Blues organization, for the fan club or for the booster club. So I got to meet a lot of the players that way. And like my favorite athlete of all time is Brendan Shanahan. He actually knew my name and my best buddy's name. And, he was a great guy. So, but yeah.
What about you, mister?
I ain't met any.
None?
No. We actually, my wife has. She went to the training camp here for the Steelers. I just never really went.
I thought maybe you might have met one or two at work.
Oh, well,
no, actually, I did.
can I tell you the most surprising one I ever met? Because like I wouldn't have to stand in the tunnel until the team came off the bus. So I would go and hang outside and wait for the bus to show up before I'd have to go to my position. So I'd watch all the players get off the bus and go to the locker room. And the 49ers had Ken Norton. Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think his dad was a professional boxer.
Yeah.
But he was this giant black guy that was a cowboy. And he was like, he wore giant cowboy boots with a giant cowboy hat. And it was like, this guy could wrestle steers. I mean, as he was walking by, and he was walking by with Steve Young, you know, and you'd think you'd look, oh, Steve Young, but it's like, wow, Ken Norton looks like a cowboy.
He went to the Cowboys too, didn't he? Wasn't he the one who fumbled like on the 1 yard line? He was showboating or something. Wasn't that him?
I don't know. I just
feel
remember
like that was him, that he went to the Cowboys and that he was he got a fumble or something and he ran it back and he was showboating and got tackled and lost the ball at like the 1 yard line or something like that. I'm sure the chat will tell us. I'm sure.
In a Rams game that I was at, he had scored. I don't know if he got an interception or a fumble recovery, but he was punching the goalpost.
Leon Lett.
He was. Oh, okay.
Brother Dan
he was
got
punching the goalpost like it hit boxer, because that's what his dad did. And Todd Kitchen, who was kind of a crappy, scrappy wide receiver for the Rams, scored a touchdown, and he ran and started punching the goalpost, and he kicked it, and he was just like, man, look at really retarded MMA fighter or something. Terrible. But that almost started a huge brawl because he was making fun of the other guy.
Yeah. So
it was so funny. I laughed my butt off so hard.
I've met quite a few as well. I don't know what my least favorite was. Gale Sayers. He was actually sort of a dick. His wife was super nice. We were at a game and stuff, and I was in the Bears fan club, and they drew who you got to sit with at the dinner at the Chicago Fest, right? It was all Bears, old and new Bears. And Gale Sayers was who I got lucky enough to sit with, right? I was at the table that he was on. So he was next to us. But at the game, I noticed he had bought a beer, and my son's sitting right next to him, Anthony. He's just had his birthday. Oh, tomorrow's his birthday. But
congratulations.
He was sitting right next to him, and I noticed he bought himself a beer. Not my son. He was like, I don't know, 7 at the time. Gale Sayers bought himself a beer. So after he had finished his beer, and a little bit later, I asked him if I can buy him a beer, and he said, yeah. He said, yes. And I bought him his beer, and he never said thank you. Didn't say. So Gale Sayers was the youngest man inducted to the Hall of Fame at the time. I don't know if anybody's been younger since, but he was the youngest man inducted. And Anthony asked him, how did that feel? Was that an honor to be the youngest man, or was there, some? And he just said it was good. And he didn't want to talk to us at all. His wife was super nice. Jim Flanagan, I think Jim, his dad played for the Packers. He was a Bears lineman. He sort of saw, and he actually bought me a beer, and he was talking to Anthony and stuff, and that was really cool. But Gale Sayers was just sort of he was a dick. He was there, paid to be there as a representative of the Bears, and I even wrote a letter later, and I told him he dropped the ball. I was just like, you were there. I didn't expect we were going to be best friends or anything. I didn't expect like that, but I expected you to be polite, especially to my son, asking all these decent questions and stuff. But so that's probably my least favorite. My favorite would be Sammy Sosa, because he remembered me from one year to the next. So again, it was, you go to the practices and there's nobody around. There's nobody there. It's just you and these players and a few other autograph seekers or whatever. And I got Sammy's autograph, and then he was talking to somebody else, and he said he was waiting for, oh God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He was a Chicago Cub from the 60s and early 70s. He was their batting coach when Sammy was there. He was in the Hall of Fame, a great player. and I've been trying to get his autograph for a very long time. And
Ryan
I overheard.
Sandberg?
What's that?
Ryan Sandberg?
No, it was 60 and 70s. Sandberg was 80s.
Oh.
No, he was the hitting coach. I feel like it wasn't. It's oh man, I can't remember his name. Somebody maybe you'll know it, but anyways, he was a great player when he played. I was trying to get his autograph forever, so I asked Sammy if I could just stand there with him and wait for the guy because the guy was coming to pick him up. And when the guy showed up, Sammy said, "Hey, this guy's trying to get your autograph," and he gave him my card and everything and the Sharpie to. He just handed it into the window. And no, Ernie Banks was never a hitting coach. It was not like Bill Mattingly. I'm going to look it up as we're talking about other stuff. But, well, the next year, though, now that was the year before Sammy hit all the home runs. That was the year right before. So that next year, I saw Sammy, and he was in a crowd of people this time. There's a whole bunch of people asking for his autographs, and he saw me, and he goes, "Hey, how you doing this year?" He's like, he recognized me, remembered me, because we stood there for like a good 10, 15 minutes. And the fact that he remembered me, just regardless of all the other problems that he might have had, it was still my favorite moment. The fact that he remembered me a whole year later.
Jeff Petland?
Wasn't Ron Santo. Ron Santo wasn't a hitting coach. It was.
I had an awkward situation once with a hockey player.
Did you say his batting coach or his hitting coach? Sorry.
It's okay.
I honestly don't remember. Hall of Famer.
I'm getting Jeff Pentland.
No, yeah, it's definitely not him. This was. Let me see if I can find it. You guys go ahead, and I don't want to slow things down. Let me see if I can.
I don't know.
I know the player was traded. How he got to the Blues was they traded Curtis Joseph for him. His name was Sean Corson, and there was this woman who loved him, and she would have him sign like 8 autographs every time she saw him, like all of his cards and stuff. And she paid me to take pictures of her and him after a game once. And he came to me and said, "Why does she want me to sign all these autographs? I mean, she's got to own a store, right?" And I said, "No, she just really likes you a lot." And he went, she paid me to have a picture with you. It's like, so that was weird.
It's impressive whenever the players actually remember people that always come to, like what Rico, like he was there. Yeah. Sammy Sosa remembered him.
Yeah.
You don't get that a lot.
No.
And for a player to remember that shows a lot to me. And, I think it's pretty good.
There was also another player, Mike Morgan. He was a pitcher, and he's a journeyman. He played on a ton of different teams. And I got his autograph. I actually had a ball that time, and I was getting a whole bunch of people to sign it. And I was like, "Hey, I know you've been around a lot. You've been a lot of different teams, but I just feel like you're going to have a good home here, and you're going to have a lot of success with us." He's like, "Hey, thanks." And he signed the ball, and then what did he do? He went out on the field. No, I had him sign my card. He went out on the field and got a ball for me. Again, this is just a practice. There's nobody around. Right. And he came back and he signed the ball to my son. And then he took me over to the little concession stand there and he said, "Hey, give this guy, the holder, the ball mount thing." So Anthony still has that somewhere around here. And that was pretty cool for him to go out of his way like that and do stuff.
Actually, man. I did
Billy?
meet.
Was it Billy?
I guess it was a NASCAR driver. Rusty Wallace is who I met.
Billy Williams.
Oh,
Ricky DeHoy just got it
awesome.
too. Billy Williams was who it was. Yeah, Billy Williams. Ricky got it too.
Wallace too. Rusty's from the St. Louis area. Jimmy P, help me out. Was Rusty from Granite City? I think he was from Granite City. That's just on the Illinois side, on the other side of St. Louis.
He was a down to earth dude. whenever we met him.
He came out to my college and I don't know if it was a promotional thing or what, but it was just cool because I was going like for lunch and he's got his car on his trailer and he's just shaking hands. Shook his hand and said, "Hey, I like the Intimidator, but you're number 2." Even though the Intimidator was number 2.
You're number 2. Well, you're number 2.
He was number 4.
I don't know if they still do it, but what they used to do was they'd have a replica car at certain places, right? And the drivers would go there and actually sign stuff, and you would get to meet them and some people off of their racing team. I don't think they do that anymore. Back in the 90s is when this was, that was a real big thing.
Yeah, it was like 95 or 93, 94, so one of those years.
That's when it was racing. It ain't racing no more. That's when it was racing. Because, you can flip end over end in a car and still get out and walk. You're a tough guy, But no. Yeah, I do remember meeting him now because whenever we was there, my parents won tickets to the Poconos. And they said, don't ever go there. You can't see nothing except for the turn that you're at. So, but yeah, I do remember that now. I really had to think that was a while ago.
Alishon said, sadly, Ron Santo lost both his legs below the knee to type 1 diabetes. Yeah, Ron Santo was good third baseman, and he was also the voice of the Cubs on the radio for a long time. And I've met him a few times. Another one, Harry Carey. Hello again, everybody. He was always lit up. I met him a few times, and the one time, though, I met him, I tried to get his autograph, and he was in the middle of signing my autograph, and these 2 old ladies walked by, and he just like, his name was half signed on the ball, and he threw it back at me with the pin and just started go chasing these old ladies that were walking by.
That's awesome.
Hey,
girls. I loved how he messed up names all the time.
Oh yeah,
because Brian McRae was on the team. He was their center fielder, and he says, "Here comes Brain McRae."
Yeah. Support Steve Stone. Steve Stone has a place in Arizona too, a restaurant, Stoney's, that we used to go to all the time. It was Steve Stone and Harry Carey for a lot of years, the announcers on WGN. I sort of miss those days. You know what? I stopped watching baseball like 2 years before the Cubs won the World Series. So I've been a Cubs fan my entire life, since the 60s. And 2 years before. Now, my dad, luckily, he had been a Cubs fan since 1940 or 1930, whenever he was born, 38, something like that. So whenever he was born, he was a Cubs fan his entire life. He at least got to see them win the World Series before he passed away. So, and not that we weren't close, but.
I wish I would have invited Jimmy P up to this stream. He said a whole bunch of great stuff, and he knows a lot of my history because he lived in St. Louis, so we kind of shared the same life situations. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I didn't even think about it. But if you'd ever be interested in coming up and talking old sports and stuff, like maybe next week. And he's also in our football league. He could have talked about that. Darn it. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I was about to send you the invite. And I wonder if you'd want to join us for the last 15, but I didn't have it still as a sticker, or how you post and stick or something. And so then I went to go copy it from the computer, but I was afraid I might turn off this channel.
Will Ferrell did the Harry Carey on SNL. He did a good job.
Oh,
hey,
good.
Harry was always drunk. He was just always drunk. It was a fact. A lot of nowadays though, I watched NASCAR for not that long, just a few years. When Robbie Gordon, Jeff Gordon. But when Jeff Gordon was a rookie, when his first, I watched him,
Rainbow Warrior,
and hockey I watched for a lot of years. I was a Blackhawks fan. And I stopped watching it the year Jeremy Roenick was a rookie. So that's how long ago. Ed Belfour was their their goalie. But I don't
And
watch
Hasek.
anything anymore. Nothing. All I watch now is just not even NFL. It's just the Bears. I'm not even really an NFL fan anymore. I'm just a Bears fan. I just don't. I don't get into the sports like I did.
I used to watch a lot of NFL until a certain incident happened.
We won't get
Because
into that.
Yeah, and that kind of changed it for me a lot because I'm a veteran. All that. Yeah, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, sports overall has changed a lot for me. I do watch football from time to time. I really enjoyed the fantasy football, and I still remember the stuff, from back when I really was, watching. I don't know. It's just I'm trying to get back into it, because while I've been watching the playoffs, I watched it last week, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah, my dad did the same thing for that incident, that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, luckily my Chiefs owner was totally against that incident, so my dad didn't hate the Chiefs. And I think that's the one saving grace that we had. And so now he's watching football again. And hockey's been so terrible. I mean, the 80s and the 90s, there was so much scoring. If you look at like the top 200 scorers, they're almost all from those the 2 decades.
Yeah.
And then it just like went to terrible scoring and everything. It's like just garbage. And just the last 2 years, hockey's starting to score more, and it's more entertaining.
Puck is juiced. You got a $10 super chat from Ricky DeHoyas. He said, I had drinks with Rico, and he signed some asses too.
I made a video on that.
Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. That was the best $9.99 ever given to me.
I only signed one ass. I only signed one, so that is factually incorrect. He said he signed some asses. I only signed one ass. Next year we can increase that if people want. We can. I'm open to signing asses.
Yeah, you better
refrain. Crotches.
Signing open.
I don't think he'll do that again.
No, I will. Yeah, I mean, I was more uncomfortable signing the crotch than the ass, but
that was my favorite part.
I will still. If anybody brings me anything hygienic, I will sign it regardless of what it is, because I'm honored that anybody would even want my autograph. So, again, it has to be hygienic. Don't be handing me something that's, like a marital aid that's been used. But otherwise, if it's hygienic, and, it's got to be appropriate. I'm not going to sign something weird in front of, kids. But otherwise,
Well, and the ass that you signed, the guy is definitely not an ass. He's a super, super nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Look, talking about nice guys, he just left. There he is.
Where's the nice guy?
From Fantastic Freaks.
I don't see any nice guys.
Yesterday.
I see Packer fans.
I see one nice guy, another nice guy over here, over there, and then
he's wearing
that guy up there. I got questions on yet.
We'll answer the questions at the Clash. You're coming to the Clash this year, right? Or are you going to try to?
I'm going to try to, at least. You and I talked about that before. That's like August, right?
September.
Okay, a little bit longer.
End of September. Yeah.
Ooh, when's football?
I'm always down for a road trip. I'd be down.
Oh, cool.
Coro says, is there anything you aren't open to signing? Well, again, it has to be hygienic, but that's it. That's the limit. And I don't want to sign something in front of people. I'll sign anything, just maybe not in front of everybody, because if there's kids there and it's something inappropriate,
Well,
I'm just amazed anybody would want my autograph.
At the Keystone Clash, for anybody who comes early, we're going to have a party on Thursday night. Sponsored by nobody, so you're going to pay yourself. But it's there's a bar down the street. Oh my gosh, look at there. We got another guy.
There's
a bar right down the street that does wings on Thursday night. So we're going to watch Thursday night football and eat dozens of wings. But hiya, Kenny. How are you?
Just got back, man. Tried to get back sooner, but I got here.
Well,
You sound
I
tired.
appreciate it.
You look
did either
upset
one
and
of you-
tired. I feel like I did something wrong, like you're going to scold me.
I think he ate too much.
He does have that face about him, doesn't he?
I think he just ate a 22-ounce steak.
It's gotten colder. It's like in the 30s here, and we got home. All the garage tanks were out. All the upper level front room tanks were out. We went downstairs.
Oh.
The discus room was out. 3 of the rooms
Wow.
downstairs were out. So a little stressed about that. I got to get that figured out. What's going on?
Yeah. Okay, then that explains the face.
Yep.
It's a stress
Well-
face.
Now that we've got Kenny here, let's go around the horn. Last week, we gave our projections on who was going to win the game. So let's see where we rack up on wins, losses on the season or on the playoffs. What was
Say, I don't remember
what
the
was
prediction
first
of the game, so I got to look that up here quick.
The first game, I think, I don't know. Miami, was that the first game? Miami versus Buffalo?
Might be.
Okay, so
NFL, let me see. Okay, we got Jacksonville and Kansas City. That's the first one.
well, wait, we need last week's first,
Oh,
so
last
we can find
week.
out what our records are.
All right. Whenever you're ready, I got the scores here.
Okay, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Skipper, were you here last week?
I sick.
Okay, we're just gonna have to get your opinion. And Rico, were you there last week?
I was probably 3 hours asleep.
So what we'll do is, what was the first game? Don't say who won.
The first game was San Francisco against Seattle. And
Well, they
Okay.
all know who won, Ed. We can't let them pick now.
Well, I think they're both super honest guys. Who would have you guys picked?
No, I'll just, I probably won't be here for the rest of it anyways, the rest of the way out, because this is awfully late for me. So I'll just stay out of it.
Okay.
I'll just stay out of it.
Who would have you picked? Skipper probably doesn't even know who won this game.
Who was it?
San
Seattle or
Francisco
San
versus
Francisco?
Seattle.
I would have
Right.
picked San Francisco.
Okay. So Skipper got a W. Kenny, did you pick Seahawks?
I did.
Okay. Austin,
I had the Niners.
and so did I. Okay. So what's the next game?
Jacksonville and the Chargers. What a game that was.
I picked the Chargers, so I don't get a win here. Austin, what did you pick?
I also had the Chargers.
Okay, Kenny, what did you pick?
Chargers.
I would have
What
picked
would have
them.
you picked?
I would have picked them also.
Okay, so nobody got a win there. And then let's just put games. Okay. Then who was the next game? There were 6 games.
Buffalo and Miami.
Oh,
think-
I picked
yeah.
Buffalo, even though I wanted Miami so bad, and they
I also had
almost.
Buffalo.
I think we all went Buffalo on that one. We all agreed on that one.
I would have picked
What have you-
Buffalo also.
We all about took an L at the same time, too.
Yeah,
Miami sure made that interesting in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did.
unbelievable. Okay, and then what's the next game?
We had the Giants and the
Oh
We
man,
had the
I'm
Vikings.
sorry, Kenny.
Kirk Cousins is a bum.
That was
I
beautiful.
picked
That
the
was-
Vikings.
That was good. I
My
was gonna
question
pick-
I'm going to ask you guys. It's 4th down and 8. Why are we throwing the ball 3 yards?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
yeah.
I would have picked the Vikings for that game also.
Yeah, so nobody got a win for that one. Okay.
And yeah, I think I picked the Vikings on that too. So I think another L.
That was
I'm
funny.
sorry, that's good.
Yeah, I like the sound effects.
I love this thing.
Oh gosh, that was good. Okay.
You blow a good
so-
horn, Austin. You blow a good horn.
Thank you. Well, here's the Chicago
Tampa
Bears.
Bay game. How about the Tampa Bay game?
That was
Oh,
they
I
were
picked,
playing
I
Dallas.
picked Cowboys. I
Yeah,
picked
that was the
Cowboys,
Monday
I
game. We
remember.
actually had a game before him, but yeah, Dallas and Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay.
Who won that?
I would have picked the Cowboys because I can't stand Brady.
I
hate
was the same
Brady,
way.
too.
I took the Tampa.
Who won? Did Tampa win that one?
No, Dallas won by 17. Smoked
Oh.
them.
I missed that game.
Well, this just wasn't Kenny's week. Okay,
Mm-mm.
is that all the games?
Yep, and I had
No.
Dallas that week
Oh,
too. I
Cincinnati.
didn't watch that game either. My wife and I watched a new Avatar movie.
I took Cincinnati.
Oh,
And yet Baltimore
I
and
think I took-
Cincinnati was the other game.
Who?
We all
Cincinnati
agreed.
and Baltimore. You said
Yep.
I'd have picked Cincinnati because I can't stand the Ravens.
I had Cincinnati as well.
And I had
Okay.
Cincinnati.
So now
Gross.
we're going
To the
into
divisionals.
week. Yes. Do you think this week will be as good as last week?
I think the Sunday games are going to be very interesting. Kansas City, Jacksonville might sort of be, only because I think Jacksonville is playing pretty hot at the right time, so that could be, but it's pretty hard to win.
Yeah, but
at
we already
Arrowhead.
destroyed them once this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that to kiss Ed's backside, but
I'm taking Kansas City in that one too. I mean, how do you can't
Oh,
go
thanks,
against
Kenny.
them.
Kenny, you're awesome. So I've
Can't-
got
I can't do the
KC,
tomahawk thing. There we go.
Well, Ed,
KC.
the truth is that of all of us, your team's the only one left.
Kansas City also.
Rico's the Bears.
Oh.
I'm the Vikings. Well, you got the whole Central Division here, almost with the exception of Skipper. I mean, you got Bears, Vikings, and Vikings.
Packers,
and
Packers, Vikings, Bears. You just need a Detroit fan.
Yeah, we need a Detroit
Is-
fan.
We don't need a Detroit fan. Nobody really needs a Detroit fan.
where are you going to find a Detroit fan?
Hey,
There
no
aren't
BS.
any.
I
Fish
think
Tank Barn.
Detroit's days of losing are over. I think they're going to be a contender from here forward for a while.
I don't think they're going anywhere either.
I think I've heard that before, and I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't know, boys. I think that's a team you better keep your eye on.
What,
For
and
Green
did you
Bay's
pick
sake, I hope
the
not,
Chiefs
but I
also?
tend to agree with you.
Skipper, did you take Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're awesome. Now, is the Pittsburgh in the Central also for the AFC group?
Pittsburgh? They're in the AFC
It's
North.
Cincinnati.
North.
Oh, North.
AFC North,
Okay.
yeah. That's Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and
Cleveland.
See, I just don't.
Cleveland.
I always
The
think
Norris
Buffalo
division.
and New England are more far north.
Well, Dallas
know?
is in the East, so
Yeah.
yeah, so there's that. With Washington, Philadelphia, and
Arizona was in
Giants.
the East. Remember, Arizona was in the East there weren't they for like the first couple of years? I thought that they were in the East when they first moved to Arizona, like the first 4 years or something like that.
Yeah, St. Louis, they were in the same division as Dallas for a while. No. Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, it's
Because
confusing
Tampa
now.
Bay was in our division.
Yeah,
yes, they were for a while.
like 80,
Oh, yeah, well,
88, 80 to 90, something like that. I don't know.
St.
Yeah, I
Louis
was a
was in the
youngin'
West
when that
because they
dropped.
came from the West because they were in LA or Anaheim.
Mm.
Well, St. Louis, the Rams were from Chicago originally. They were in Chicago for a very long time. They played at Wrigley Field for a super long time. Not the Rams. I'm sorry, the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's right.
They
I
were
thought the
in
Rams went to
Chicago.
LA.
Yeah,
Went
I'm
to
sorry. I don't,
back to LA.
yeah, the Cardinals though came from Chicago. They were in Chicago for 30 years, 40 years, and then they
Well,
moved
think
to
about
St.
good
Louis.
old Chicago. Those how to run teams off.
Who else did they run off?
Okay.
There's the Rico I
Okay.
know.
Okay, so what's the evening game for tomorrow night?
The evening game tomorrow night is the New York, or since they're located in a different state, we'll say the New Jersey Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles Fly.
Giants,
Oh, I'm gonna-
baby.
Woo!
Oh man,
Big
Eagles.
pick by Kenny.
Philly. I am going to probably go Philly, but boy, I sure hope Kenny's right because that would be fun.
Is that Philly
Okay,
your
Austin.
team there, Skipper? Isn't Philly your team? I forgot who your team. Oh, Steelers. Yeah.
Nobody really likes Philly anymore either.
I think out of all of them, I like it, but I don't like enough.
Fishymon likes
I
them.
will say that if the Giants can slow up Philadelphia's run attack, then I think the Giants have chances of getting the upset increase exponentially. But I don't know.
Now-
At Philadelphia, those people are going to be excited and such. Philadelphia by a field goal.
Ooh, so close one, but Philly. Boy, this is where I really hope that Philly wins. I mean, that New York wins, so Kenny can get back in the hunt of everything.
I'm so over
Okay.
football.
Well, the
after
next two
last
games are going to
weekend.
be very interesting.
Let's hear them.
So the first game on Sunday, we have the Cincinnati Kitty Goes Meow Bengals and the
Ooh.
William F. Cody Buffalo Bills.
Bengals.
Uh-oh.
Good
Kenny
job. man.
goes Cincy. Okay. What are you going to go with, Austin?
You know what? I like Kenny's pick. I like the Bengals. I think Burrow, Jamar, and Mixon and all that, I like it. I
And
like
their
the Bengals.
defense, man, they got a D.
I mean,
Well-
Josh Allen, that's a man amongst boys, but I got to tell you, the Bengals, there's something about that first game. They look good. I like the Bengals to potentially get back to – oh, yeah. I like the Bengals to get to the AFC Championship game again.
Well, we saw what happened in 5 minutes with them last time. They killed one of the Buffalo players. So I don't think Buffalo has a prayer. So I'm going to go Cincy also.
Wow.
And we'll see if Buffalo can finish the game this time. Okay.
Oh.
How about you, Skipper?
I'm going to go with the Bengals because after what did happen with the Bills, that gas is going to run out sometime.
See, I feel like the opposite. I feel like there's something more there for the Bills, even though it wasn't intentional by any means or anything
Right.
like that. But I just feel like there's that momentum and that extra
inspiration.
little bit, you know? Yeah, the motivation. You know, sometimes that's all it takes is that little bit of motivation, you know?
You're right, but I'm going
Sorry,
with the
Surf
Bengals.
City. Surf City said he just lost 90% of the respect for me.
No, you just lost 90% of your members.
Oh, uh-oh. There's no way that 90% of my members are from Cincinnati
Oh, dear.
or Buffalo.
Or
I
just
guess they'd be
Ohio.
Buffaloes. Well, Ohio people would probably be laughing. It would be the Buffalo people.
True.
Ow,
All
dude,
right.
I hurt in my knee.
Hmm.
Okay.
The final
And
game.
the last game?
Yep, it's a big one. Dallas at San Francisco.
Niners, baby.
49ers. Kenny.
I don't think Dak's got the answer for that Niner defense. I think they're going to traditionally, when Dak is under heavy pressure, he doesn't do well. He folds like an accordion. He reminds me of a quarterback in Minnesota. Put a little pressure on him, he folds like an accordion.
You know what? Kenny just convinced me because I was on the fence, but I'm going to agree with what Kenny said. That I think just what Kenny said.
I just can't ever vote for the Cowboys for anything. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. I just can't do it.
Cowgirls,
I just can't do it. America's team my ass.
right?
Yeah, that would be Green
Well-
Bay. That's it. And just like that, Rico and Kenny throw up a little bit.
Almost left.
Okay. So Austin and Skipper.
Skipper, you want to go or?
Go ahead.
All right.
This
Well, I
is where
gotta
you
tell
guys
ya,
can make waves.
Those 49ers, ever since Mr. Irrelevant has taken over at quarterback, they have looked pretty good, I got to say.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I got the Cyclone on here too, so I got to go with my former Cyclone here. Brock Purdy and the Niners. I was saying here at the beginning of the playoffs, I think the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to sit here and say that, yeah, Niners beat the Cowboys and by 2 scores.
Well, my prediction is Niners, Bengals, repeat of the Super Bowl from the past, and the Bengals get their revenge. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind seeing the Bengals get their first ring.
I'm gonna go with the Niners also. I'm the same way. I cannot go with the Cowboys. It's against the Steeler Nation. Cannot do it.
I mean, I'll also say this. Dallas does have a very high-powered offense, but, I mean, think of all the weapons that the Niners have. I mean, George Kittle is arguably the best tight end in the league. Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, is arguably the best running back in the league. And then you got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk as wide receivers there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dallas has some weapons too, but as I say, Dallas has a weaponry. San Francisco has the whole damn fort. I mean, it's like putting a shotgun against a tank here, my book, offensively.
And the defense from San Francisco is off the charts.
Yeah, that too. I mean, their defense wins championships and offense puts the butts in the seats, and San Francisco has the whole package.
They're built for games that they're going to play this weekend.
Yes.
I saw the highlights of the Cowboys and the Bucks game, and I'm going to tell you, I thought they were playing a high school team, so they didn't have no challenge. All right, they're going to have a challenge, and I don't think they can handle it.
Love it.
Because I see the comment there, Surf City, Travis Kelce is the only other tight end in the league right now that I think I would accept an argument for best tight end in the league. I know some people might also say Andrews from Baltimore, but no, top 2 to me are Travis Kelce and George Kittle. Only because George Kittle played in Iowa, though. Maybe I'm a little biased.
Well, and if George Kittle was a healthy person instead of having bones made of glass, he would be a lot better too. But I mean, Kelce just broke the record for 7 consecutive years of 1,000 receiving yards. That's awesome.
Yeah.
For a tight end. I mean, every year people say who the new best tight end is, and they always put Kelce at number 2, and then they're always looking for who the best quarterback is, putting Mahomes at number 2. Every year. And I guess it gives people something to talk about.
I think will be up there with them from here on out. The kid that left Detroit to go to Minnesota, I think, is pretty good tight end too.
Oh yeah,
and he's from Iowa. Oh, yeah. He's from Iowa.
People cannot tell me that there was not a little bit of collusion there with Detroit and Minnesota. I call BS otherwise. First the NFL draft, and then they trade him TJ Hawkinson. I'm like, Detroit, the NFC North is just going against us, man. I smell collusion. I'm just waiting for Rico's Bears there to send them David Montgomery to have a 1-2 punch with Dalvin Cook or something.
We already do, man.
I do think Montgomery's moving on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll have Montgomery next year. I think Barkley might be with the Bears next year. He's leaving New York, I bet. So, and the Bears have a ton of cap space.
Yeah.
I think maybe not this year. I think the Bears are going to definitely improve big time this year, but 2 years from now, I think playoffs.
Give it about 2-3 years, and I think Green Bay will be in the bottom of the NFC North.
You need at least one good, reliable number one, and you guys you need a number one receiver for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the offensive line's coming together, but it still needs some help too. So, and we got rid of most of the defense. So they've got a lot of money to spend, but they need to spend a lot of money as well. So we'll see. That's why they play the games.
Give us that number one pick. I'm sure we'd send Cousins your way.
I think we don't need a quarterback. I'm happy with what we got at quarterback. We just need to protect his ass a little bit better. But
exactly,
I think the Colts are going to have that number one pick from us. I just have that feeling. So we'll see. I don't think the Bears are going to stay at number one. I think they're going to trade back.
They have no reason to.
Yeah, there is no reason. They'll be able to get their player, and they might trade a couple times. We'll see.
I mean, honestly, if you trade the number 1 pick, you could probably get multiple picks in the first round then, too. Who knows? Maybe even get a second-round pick, depending on who you chat with.
Or maybe even next year, that extra one, just, yeah. So far, I like all the moves that I just drew a blank on his name, but the new guy, I like everything he's been doing with the, he's been making a lot of smart moves, even though I don't always agree with
Quarterback?
Or
the GM?
The GM.
I don't know.
When they got rid of Roquan Smith, I understand it, but it still hurt,
The Bears have not been the same since they did the Khalil Mack trade. They've been on a downward spiral ever since then.
Well, I mean, that's not that far to go. We've only been to the Super Bowl twice, and we've only won once. And, 2013 was the last time we've been there.
Oh, sure. Rub it in, Rico. Rub it in. That's
I was going to say that the Bears weren't the same since the double doink.
Oh, yeah. The fucking...
Guys, is anybody going? Because we're like 11 minutes over the time period.
All right, I'm okay. Sorry.
We don't want to run over anybody.
No, even though a couple people to go tonight too, and I can't remember who it is now. I know Craig Doniger was going for a while, and then there was somebody else that's been going lately, and I can't remember who now.
Well, even though we're totally not talking fish at all, and thank you everybody for being here. We have 46 people talking sports. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and having fun. And anybody that's in the chat right now that would like to play fantasy football with us next year, we'll expand the leagues to 3 or 4. We'll just expand as many leagues as it takes so everybody can play. It's a lot of fun. I know Jen Williams. I talked to her today, and she's going to play with us. So, it just keeps growing, and we're just going to keep having a lot of fun.
Isn't Jen a Minnesota fan too?
No, she's not. She's a Redskin fan.
Redskins?
Commanders.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
No, let's be politically correct on here, Ed. They're not referred to as the Redskins. That is politically incorrect. You can't call them that.
I will never.
Renee is also a Commanders fan.
I will never call them Commanders.
Yeah, I don't think she's a Commanders fan. She's a Redskin fan. So
I call them Bacon now after I look at their mascot.
Gosh,
Bacon?
Their mascot is a pig. Like, who the hell came up with that?
Well, don't they have the hogs or whatever?
Hog.
What's their? Yeah.
They probably didn't want. They were probably afraid to call themselves the Hogs.
Surf City said, "We need playoffs next year, Ed. If you would have been in the other league,
No.
we had playoffs."
Yeah, we'll be getting rid of the playoffs next year because it was a joke. Having a game canceled, teams won that shouldn't have won. I won $500 in another league because the Cincinnati Buffalo game didn't play. I was down or winning by 5 points, and the guy I was playing against had Burrows, Chase, and Davis, I think, or David. The wide receiver. Is it Gabe
I will
Davis?
dispute you on that, Ed, because Buffalo Photo in the league that we had playoffs dominated the league, but who won? That's
Exactly.
where the playoffs are just like the NFL, man. You don't know who's going to win.
So there will be no playoffs. It's every game, every week we want it to matter. And so you can't take the season off. Because I was in third place and won it all the money because of a retarded game. And I would be for the playoffs if the best teams didn't bench all their players at the end of the season and stuff. I hate playoffs so much. I've been playing leagues since 1989, and playoffs are so lame at the end. It
the other
rest
thing
of the season
too,
worthless.
Ours is set up for offense, period. There's no -2 when you fumble the ball. There's no -2 if you throw an interception. I mean, for God's sakes, I lost a couple games this year to kickers scoring 30 points off 2 field goals. Come on, man.
Hey, if you can kick a 60-yard field goal, that's pretty impressive.
But you know what? It's 3 points in the real league. It's 3 points.
But
There's
this is
only
all
one
about a
kicker that I
fantasy.
feel like can ever
It's a
kick
fantasy
60-yard field goal.
where all players are going to be. It's the way to make all players have a good value.
Then we also get a participation trophy.
Yep. And you see, we can't change the rules just because it hurt somebody 1 year. We got to
It wasn't just 1 year.
So what? Why do you never pick a good kicker?
What?
It's a standoff.
I mean, the best way to combat it is pick a kicker that can kick a field goal.
All I'm saying is there should never be a point where a guy kicks 2 field goals and scores 20 plus points. That's ridiculous. In the real NFL, the most a kicker can get is 3.
But who leads the league every year in points overall? Who
get it.
scores the most points in
So if
in football?
the guy scores 5 field goals in a game, he gets 15 points. If not, you get what you get, 3 plus the 1. That's real,
Maybe.
realistic.
Maybe I'll bend on that, but I'm getting rid of the league, and I hate it. I hate devaluing players. I like having every player have a chance to win, and that's what I have in having the scoring system.
I mean, I don't care how we
every
play.
player a valuable
it's
player.
equal either way, Ed. I mean, it's just what I think about is
why
like
don't we
this
just get
year,
rid of kickers?
If Ryan would have
I mean,
been
why
in the
have a
other
kicker
league,
get 3
Ryan would have
points?
lost. And Ryan won the one league because there was playoffs. Larry Photo's team tanked. It kicked butt the first half of the year.
Same
and then
with
he
mine.
lost a bunch of players and then tanked.
Same with mine.
think
There was no
that's
players
fair.
to pick up. There was no players to pick up. The trades are
Well-
I looked at trades and there just wasn't anything that fit. And
We
that
had
my
too many
team,
teams in the league.
Same with Whip. Whip had the same problem. Like all of his wide receivers went out. All of mine went out. My running backs, I had.
That happened to
Well,
me.
that's why Ed wants to make a third league, maybe a fourth league, so we can keep it at 10 to 12 teams per. So there's actually people in free agency for you next year. But
14 was.
We
just
also
like-
need to make sure everybody is playing their teams. Make sure because we did have that.
Yeah. I mean,
There's
I
a
think I
person
only
named
won 4 or
Joey?
5 games in fantasy football this year. I mean, I sucked. But I mean,
Oh, man,
my
mine's
fantasy
terrible.
football team was about as good as the Packers, honestly, this year. But I mean, well, maybe the Packers were slightly better, but not much. But I mean, either way, I mean, yeah, the free agency this year, it was kind of difficult. The only thing that somewhat saved my backside was that, I mean, I guess maybe it's being a little bit of a homer. I just went and got one of the 2 Packers rookie receivers, and every once in a while, it wasn't Watson because somebody else beat me to the punch there, but I think Dobbs, that was the other one. But yeah,
It is tough
That's
when you
me.
have that many teams in one league. That's a lot
right.
of
It was
teams.
you, Kenny. It was you. You were the one that got Christian. Well, I mean, he benefited from that.
Hopefully what we'll get is 30 teams next year in 3 leagues.
There we go.
Or 40 teams in 4 leagues. That would be pretty cool.
Well, you said there's 40 some people here now watching, so if everybody wants to join.
So,
Join the
Travis,
teams.
you're playing with us. Yeah, that's true too. He said that kickers are fluky.
Mhm.
And the kickers are just designed to be a goofy, weird, random thing that happens because there's so few 60-yard field goals in the league. You get 15 points for a 60-yard field goal. But I mean, we could do away with the fun stuff like that. I mean, but we can also do away with kickers. If they're not a valuable player, why even draft them?
I hate to say it, they are a valuable player. They win a lot of games.
I ain't saying
in
they're
fantasy-
not
in
valuable. I'm
fantasy
just
sport-
saying you
But in
can't.
fantasy, you don't get any value for them.
I'm just
unless you
saying
give
a
them
kicker
bonuses.
shouldn't be allowed to score 30 fucking points is all I'm saying.
Unless they kick
Have
10
a
field
kicker
goals.
be what it is. If he scores
But if
3,
he-
he gets 3 and 1, and that's it.
So why have
That's
them?
all.
If they kick 3 extra points, why have them?
It's the way it falls, man.
Yeah. Well, okay, either we'll do the bonus points or we'll just do away with kickers next year. We could do that since they don't matter. But, oh well. But, you know what? We got a whole year to decide this, and we'll argue about this every week for the next 9 months. So you guys can help us. But, hey, Kenny, thank you for letting me have this show on my channel tonight. I hope you had a lot of fun with your wife and your friends. Oh, but can we hear what you ate?
I tonight had Hawaiian food. So I had the what is it called? The pulled pork and teriyaki chicken.
Was it made from Spam?
No, man, it's pulled pork. They take the pork meat, they put a little salt in there, and it breaks it down, and it's really good.
Oh yeah, love pulled pork.
That's awesome. What? And Skipper, thank you so much for coming on. Skipper's kind of a regular here. Austin's becoming a fixture. You're awesome, especially with your horn. And thank you, Rico, for coming up and hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks
It's
for
always a
having
lot
me.
of fun. Now,
Love it, thanks.
Rico, are you going to be having a show tomorrow at 8:00?
Probably. Don't know what
Awesome.
we're gonna do. Yeah, that's that time slot. Was Skipper, you, Jed, myself, Skipper, we sort of share that time slot when Skipper's doing the auctions, in the warmer parts of the year, then he does the auction on that time slot. I figured
When are you firing that back up, Skip?
April.
yeah,
April?
be a while. So I figured we'd do a stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. I don't know what it's gonna be. It might be a focus on, it might be geek out. I don't know. We'll figure it out when it gets here.
Awesome.
I feel like your geek out
And-
stream needs like a theme like based off the Freak Out song. Only instead of Freak Out, it's Geek Out.
Geek
out.
Geek Out. Pokemon.
I think
Geek
what we
out.
should do tomorrow night is to focus on kickers.
Oh no. not that.
Do we have kickers in the community? Not shit kickers, but
I think Whip could kick a ball and kick a butt.
the debate would
Whip
be:
can
are
kick.
kickers worth it or not?
Well, okay, and then the next person up here that'll be having the show, Skipper, are you going to have your show this week? Because you canceled last week.
What, Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm back.
with Ryan, right?
Awesome.
PNW?
PNW. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
wow,
not-
be
that's
good.
awesome.
That'd be a good show.
Yeah, that sounds super cool. I can't guarantee I'll be there because there might be playoff football I'll be watching. But I'll be there in spirit. And if there's a halftime, I'll tune in then.
I can't wait to see what your excuse is when NFL's gone. Oh, I'm watching golf
Then-
on Sunday.
No, hockey.
No.
He'll be
That's not
talking
gonna happen.
hockey.
We talked hockey a little bit tonight. It was fun. But okay, and then we have Kenny's show at 9:00 Eastern and
6
or
p.m. Pacific.
something. Oh, 6 p.m. Pacific. Awesome. That's Sunday night on Danikin with the beautiful Danny and this guy. And then we've got the man with the horn, Austin. What time is your show on Monday?
5 p.m. Central. Should be able to do it again this week. Probably going to be working on this thing some more.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, guys, thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you, guys. Mods. You guys must have done a great job because there weren't any fights. We'll all catch you guys next week on Kenny's show on Friday Night Lights.